What looked like a problem for the ETF, you're taking advantage of that and creating a brand new product that can solve that issue.
Exactly.
And that issue isn't going to get solved anytime soon. I mean, when you talk about that whole issue of unstaking and that unknown time delay, does that mean it will be difficult to get a staking-based ETF for ETH?
So I think that a staking-based ETF will occur, but I don't think that they're going to be able to stake at full capacity. And if they basically, I think that they have kind of two roadmaps to do, or paths, if you will. One is they could stake, and they're going to stake at, maybe it's 50%, 60% capacity, or they could stake potentially using what's called a liquid staking token, but that introduces other vectors, other attack vectors. You're talking about introducing smart contract risk, and you're now introducing vectors of the bid-ask spread between a liquid staking token and just pure vanilla Ether, which is basically adding another transaction. What I think is a much better mousetrap is having an operating company that has a business to secure Ethereum, and to generate yield and to avail ourselves to the full suite of Ethereum's productivity, which is staking, restaking, and participation in DeFi. Plus, on the traditional financial side of the equation, the ability to sell convertible bonds and or preferred shares to volatility-seeking or credit-seeking investors, and using the proceeds of that to add Ether to our balance sheet for shareholders that want Ether concentration to increase per share.
Okay, and I definitely want to get into that. You could argue that Michael Saylor kind of wrote the book on that for Bitcoin.
For sure.
And I want to get to that. But if we zoomed out really high up and we took a look at 30,000 feet, if an institution or a person, I guess, wants exposure to Ethereum, they kind of have maybe three-ish choices. They can buy the Ethereum somehow and find a wallet to hold it in and keep it safe, which could be challenging. They can buy the ETF now and not get any yield component, but they can have the exposure. Or they could go and buy some Ether machine or an Ethereum treasury company. Are those kind of the three options for any type of size? And could you walk people through the problems with those? I think you kind of talked about the ETF there. Sure. And maybe how a lot of institutions, I mean, Saylor was just on CNBC 2 days ago, and he said 98% of the institutions in the world cannot hold crypto. And so that's not even an option, but they all have accounts on the New York Stock Exchange. Peter Thiel took $500,000 and turned it into $1 billion using the exact same techniques we're using inside the investment club. He met a CEO, his name was Zuckerberg. He pitched him the deal and he said, okay, I'll give you $500,000. Mark went public and sold the shares to people like you. Well, what happened to Peter? Well, he exited and got a 2,300x return. The wealthy invest in early stage companies, folks. The public markets are for suckers. It's a rigged game. By the way, this happens in crypto as well. It's called pre-sale tokens. This is Solana. Does anybody know this chain? They sold pre-sale tokens for 4 cents. And you can see the date on there, April 5th, 2018. Look at Solana today, folks. That thing's up over 1,000x. The media and Wall Street and all these hype people get you to buy the top. Meanwhile, they put their clients in at the bottom and they use you for liquidity to make their clients rich. You can play this same game. You just have to have the financial education and the deal flow. That's it.
Exactly. So first and foremost, one can go acquire Ether spot, and let's say use a retail exchange. They now are responsible for the public-private key pair, hacking, et cetera, and or hiding the ledger under their bed and keeping the 12 worded seed phrase. And then if they were to use any one of these retail exchanges, back of the napkin, they charge 25% of the staking yield that they generate. So that's the first example. Secondarily, the ETFs, as we just discussed, is like owning a stock that has a dividend, but availing yourself to house the dividend that you're entitled to, or in case of the U.S. right now, 0% of the dividend, because right now in the ETFs they are not enabling staking yield. And then furthermore, it's really availing yourselves, because ETFs are somewhat rigid in their exposure to kind of what you can do with the underlying asset. They haven't been created, specifically for a productive asset, what I would call kind of like this triple point asset of Ether that can derive value multiple ways. Where you can have it from staking, from restaking, and participation in DeFi. You're really only able to do that first third. And then these operating vehicles done properly, we believe is the best way to do it. And then there are nuances within the operating vehicles that we can touch on, and kind of why we chose to go in our route, which was creating a de novo entity with a SPAC versus doing a reverse takeover of a shell. But I'll digress. But basically, I think our operating vehicle model enables public market investors to have access to the full yield, the full productivity of Ether yield, staking, restaking, and DeFi, and the full product suite that an equity operating business can enable, such as ATM equity issuance, preferred shares, and convertible bonds.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith, because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.